I'd like to welcome everyone to this very, very interesting session with a very, very interesting topic at a very, very interesting time and phase and stage of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So I'd like to again welcome you all to the B2 or panel about the building peace from the ground, the civil society, particularly the civil society in action. We're going to be, well, maybe I should introduce myself first. My name is Aid Yaqub. I'm an independent consultant, and I'm so happy, I'm so glad, and also honored to be able to join you in this session. I'll just give you a quick overview about the panel. This panel basically focuses on civil society action in the face of political deadlock. We're going to be covering very interesting topics about what civil society basically builds in spite of or despite the political deadlock that we are suffering nowadays. Also women leadership in peace building, basically UN also resolution 1325. Also we're going to be covering real-world cooperation stories from the field. We're going to also be talking and exploring the different challenges to our work as peace builders. We're going to be focusing on violence, the occupation, mistrusts, and all other challenges that our speakers will decide to cover. We're going to be also talking about youth-led peace building and digital organizing, and we'll cover risk faced by peace activists and the protection strategies and the protection mechanisms that we should put in place to protect these peace activists. Basically, as I said at the beginning, this is a very, very interesting session, a very also interesting and a very sensitive timing when basically official negotiations are no more, they're frozen, there's basically a political deadlock that's taking place or happening nowadays. We also have the fact that civic space is dramatically shrinking on both sides of the border, and we also have the polarization, the incitement, and the hatred that's been deepening, especially lately. Yet, despite all of this, we have great people who are basically working from the civil society, basically, to build, to organize, to resist despair, and to model coexistence. Our panel today brings together leaders who are working across the divides, often against all odds and challenges, and their main hope or their main aim and objective is to basically sustain hope, create alternatives, and also expand what is politically imaginable. We'll hear stories of cooperation. We'll hear stories that show us the work of people who have basically endured despite fear, despite mistrust, and despite isolation. We'll also explore the leadership of women and youth and the very real and actually tangible risks that peace builders face on both sides of the border. A quick overview of how this is going to happen and how this session is going to take place. Each speaker will have about 6 minutes to share their reflections. I will then maybe jump in to facilitate or to add more questions and follow-up questions after 4, maybe 5 minutes of you speaking, maybe. So I might not do it. Just to keep this, as dynamic, participatory as possible. And after all speakers have, said their piece, I'd say, we'll open the floor for a broader discussion where you can ask questions and maybe also just comment on the speakers' interventions. We're joined today by 4 very remarkable people with very interesting roles and very effective and influential roles in the Palestinian-Israeli peace-building camps on both sides. We have Nivine Sandouka, the regional director of ALLMEP. We have Samah Salaime, the co-director of Wahed As-Salam or Neve Shalom. We have Fakhira Halloun, senior researcher at Land for All. We have Alon-Lee Green, co-director of Standing Together. Each one of the speakers do bring a very distinct perspective on civil society role and civil society actions. And we have already asked them to basically introduce themselves briefly at the start of their remarks and intervention. Let's begin with you, Nivine Sandouka from ALLMEP. Nivine, we'd love to hear your reflections basically on sustaining cross-border engagement during political deadlock, and also maybe you can also add a few remarks on how ALLMEP supports women, particularly women, in peace building and peace leadership, basically in general. Thank you, Nivine. Please.
Thank you very much, Ayed, for your question. And I would first of all take the opportunity to thank the Paris Peace Forum and the French government for their kind invitation and patronage of this very important event. Actually, this is the first time that we see Palestinians and Israeli civil society and peace builders come together to have their voice heard. So this is an opportunity that is very much appreciated. The second and most important thanks I would like to give to the peace builders who are existing here today, and especially in this room. Thank you so much for your amazing work, and thank you so much for taking this insane trip to be here amidst a war that is starting back in the region, and another war that never really stopped. And amidst all we are seeing from Gaza, the hostage situation, the political unrest. So thank you so much for civil society and the people who are here. And I think with that, it's kind of a good intro to answering your question, Ayed, because one would assume that with such a horrible war that is still ongoing and the situation of the hostages, that civil society, especially peace-building civil society, would cease to exist, would stop working, that maybe we're going to wait until the situation calms down a little bit, and then we would resume our work. Well, actually, to our surprise, even in the first couple of months after October 7th and the beginning of the war, and of course before that, but specifically after the war, we have seen that at least 70% of civil society have increased their work in peace building, despite the fact that if we lay out the challenges for peace building, we do not have permits to meet. Palestinians and Israelis are unable to work together. We are seeing also increased, as you mentioned it correctly so, the shrinking space on both sides. And right now, we are also seeing the Israeli Knesset in the process of passing a law that's actually going to limit civil society from receiving their funds, the taxation law on civil society. And who is going to be mostly affected by this law? It's the human rights organizations and the peace-building organizations. So it is actually a very much shrinking space. Nevertheless, we are also seeing a shift in civil society peace building, a shift that, yes, we are bringing Palestinians and Israelis together. Yes, we are using different approaches towards that, but at the same time, we're saying we need to be heard. We have the solutions, we understand what the situation is on the ground, and we understand what do Palestinians and Israelis aspire to achieve. So we're seeing more the voice of civil society that is being heard more. And this is a very good example. Actually, ALLMEP has utilized artificial intelligence, and specifically for this event, whereby more than 500 participants gave us their opinions. And we were able to feed in specific recommendations for a call for action, but also to feed into the working groups that are going to take place in New York next week. So civil society is stepping up despite the challenges. And just another thing, I want to specifically highlight the courageous Palestinian peace builders who are here in a public event, because back home, we are being attacked for our participation and viewed as normalizers and traitors. Nevertheless, we took the decision to be here because this is the moment when we say enough to the war, and we have the solutions and we need to be taken seriously. On the issue of women specifically and ALLMEP, so ALLMEP itself is an alliance, a network of 170 civil society peace-building organizations. And we did a brief survey. We love to do surveys because this is how we know that we're on the right path and track. So in our survey, we found out that more than 60% to 70% of the members within ALLMEP is actually led by women. So we're talking about either very senior level leadership or program managers or decision makers in the organizations. So women are actually at the forefront of peace building. Unfortunately, these women are not heard at the political level. There's a glass ceiling that the women need to break in order to be represented at the decision-making level and the political level. And that's one of the things that ALLMEP is aspiring to do, actually, to give this space for women to be heard. So right now, yes, we're giving this space to civil society, but we're also ensuring that gender is mainstreamed into the working groups and the voice of women leaders is also heard and represented.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Nivine. I just wanted another maybe quick question I need you to follow up on. The idea of shrinking space, and then you also mentioned a very important thing, which is the women leadership in the peace building and the sector. So my question is, how is the shrinking spaces actually affecting women leadership? How is the shrinking space actually putting more challenges to women leadership? And what's ALLMEP basically doing in this? I mean, please be very brief because we have more questions. Maybe they'll ask about this also issue.
Sure.
You have 1 minute, please,
Sure.
if you can do it.
Women in general, in societies in general across the world, they face double challenges. So as a Palestinian woman, at least, and I'm pretty sure it's also the same for my Israeli colleagues, we face the challenges of our own societies. The societies are expecting us to be within a specific role, a specific norm. But at the same time, so this is the first challenge, the first barrier that we need to jump over, if you want to say. And then the other challenge is actually the political challenge that is around us. So on women who are actually deciding and choosing willingly to be fighters for peace, they are overcoming many, many hurdles towards that same objective that maybe it's easier for men to overcome. So that's the first thing. And actually, I just wanted to highlight something else. It's a combination of, although this is for civil society and not only about women, but women in civil society specifically and civil society peace builders, we understand the needs of the grassroots. We understand what peace needs are. We understand that we need to build trust. We understand the issues of reconciliation. We understand the issues of economic empowerment for people. We understand what it takes for people to bring peace. And our voice and what we are putting on the table, if it is taken seriously, it means that this peace is going to be sustainable. And there's a buy-in from the level of the grassroots.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you, Nivine, but I have to, I'm sorry, I have to stop you right there. Amazing, Nivine, as always. We'll circle back to many of these points that you've just mentioned. These are very important issues. Let's move on to Ms. Fakhira Halloun from A Land for All. Fakhira, could you please share your insights on how the Confederation vision that you're working on creates new space for cooperation? I was just about to say occupation, but no. I mean new space or new spaces for cooperation, and how your work basically engages women and youth.
Okay, so I will, first of all, thank you so much. My name, I want just to say something about my work and also to say hello to the people here, because I guess we are like in a conversation of a community. Most of the people that are here, we know each other, and we are like continuing a conversation that we have been talking about, especially during this time. I used to work in a previous year as a civil society and peace building consultant in the UN Office of the Special Coordinator, which allows me to know from a close manner a little bit about the civil society work, about the theories of change, how we work in order to end the occupation and promote a solution for the conflict. And today I am working as the director of the Palestinian Advocacy Department at the Land for All. And before I go a little bit deeper in your question, I want to say that I think we are in a very turning point in the conflict and in the relationship between Palestinians and Israelis, and we are really like in the midst of very dark reality where the boundaries of the evilness is so much expanded, and the atrocities also of the 7th of October and the genocide, we are coming here and functioning during a context of a genocide work, ethnic cleansing, expansion of occupation, and also a settler violence, and a increase of level of dehumanization between both sides. And we, the civil society organization, I guess we have to ask ourselves, we cannot go back to the same ways that we are working as before the 7th of October. We have Palestinian and Israeli really to challenge our theories of change. What are we working together about? And to change the concepts that we are working and the language. We cannot go to the same level that we have been working. I think we have to be more bold, more courageous in our language and in our theory of change and what we are working about. And before, I think the main, there should be some main goals for Palestinians and Israelis to like urgent work before we dig deeply about how the solution will look like. From my perspective as Palestinian, I think that working also in a Palestinian-Israeli movement, I think the first urgent work that should be for the Palestinian-Israeli civil society is the co-resistant, is a co-resistant between Palestinian and Israeli to resist the occupation, to resist the control of one people on the other people, and to resist the structure of violence that's happening. This should be the first urgent matter, and to have a united voice to end the genocide and end the occupation, and then to think about solution. But we have to have to cooperate around united values that is beyond our national identities, and not just because this is a future for all of us. Israelis need to work to end the occupation, not because of the Palestinians, it's because the security of Israelis will not continue, will not be possible if the Palestinians don't have liberation. So it is a joint interest, and this is also a moral values that we have to work together as Palestinian and Israel, that we are against ethnic cleansing, against the genocide, and against occupation, and we want to live together in equality in the homeland from the river to the sea. Now, this is the urgent matter that should also go from this conference. We cannot come here and just talk about two-state solution while we are operating in a genocide war. We have to have really a united voice together toward ending this genocide war and going for a solution, and also recognizing the state of Palestine and as the first step toward any solution. I think should be the courageous voices of the people here. This is the first point, but I think Palestinian and Israelis needs also to see a roadmap, a political platform that also that civil society putting for them, where we are going from here, because you need also to put a roadmap that will allow people to commit to steps. You will know what is the end game. We know that the end game should be two-state solution with, let's say, confederation. I will talk about it. But if you don't have an end game, you cannot commit about your actions today. You cannot commit about your narrative today about yourself and about the other. If you are building a future, a joint future with Palestinians or with Israelis, you have to be committed about their security, about their liberation. It will demand from you a certain commitment and narrative about the current reality and about your actions for the future. And also it will show a roadmap. I will just finish about
Yeah, you have something like less than this.
Okay.
45
So
seconds.
I want to say that Land for All is bringing, it's promoting a two-state solution, but with a new model, which taking into consideration also the basic need of the two people, the emotional need, the political need, but also taking into consideration the reality. What's in the reality that how we can promote a two-state solution with two separate states, but at the same time taking into consideration the reality and taking into consideration the obstacle that the classic two-state solution couldn't address. And we say the most important thing that Palestinians and Israelis interdependent. We cannot separate them. We start from giving the two people a state, like two-state solution in 67 borders, but we are saying that because they are interdependent, we have to create a cooperative institution to share, to coordinate about security, about other resources, and to build partnership in a very equal way.
Fakhira, I have to stop you
Okay, I will
at this
talk
point.
about it more.
And yes, exactly. But we have
And
more time to discuss because you've mentioned very interesting stuff and very sensitive stuff. You're asking Palestinians and Israelis to actually work together, while at the same time you're using the terminology that is very sensitive, especially on the Israeli side.
We are breaking, we want to break the discourse about separation, that separation will bring us security, and we are saying partnership will bring us peace.
That's exactly why I think, chapeau.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm saying that this is very courageous and this is very brave, and we'll definitely circle back to that in a bit. And now we'll move to Samah, Miss Samah Salaime. Samah, please let us know, share with us, let's say, your reflection on how community-led coexistence looks like today. And I understand that you don't like a lot of terminologies that we're using now. We've been discussing this.
We have to change terminology.
As Fakhira said, this is a continuation of a discussion that we've been having a couple of minutes ago. So, as I said, could you please, reflect on the community-led coexistence, how it looks like today, especially when dealing with mistrust and also the obvious gender challenges and the polarization, the hatred, the incitement, especially lately. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. It's lots of topics, but let's start with that terminology. I think that civil society and actual models of resilience or shared society or peace movement or peace activists, we have lots of terms that have to be discussed, and to be relevant to what's happening today on the ground. I think that Wahd al-Salam, Neve, Shalom, when it's founded almost 50 years ago, the vision was to be together without killing each other. And this is coexistent. You can coexist everywhere, anywhere, if you keep your mouth shut or just respect or keep the distance. I think that we know that between the river and the sea, we have two communities, two nations, almost 7 million Jewish Israelis and 7 million Palestinians with different shades of Palestinians according to, where do you live, like Palestinian Israel, like me and Fakhira. If you live in East Jerusalem, like Nivine. If you live in the West Bank, like part of our colleagues here, and now, of course, we have also the Palestinian in Gaza and Palestinian in the diaspora. So we are, the reality says that we are two nations sharing the same place and with all the resources that's supposed to be divided equally. So Wahd al-Salam, Neve, Shalom is now talking, and for many years we are trying, and we are not alone. We have alliance and partners are talking about shared society. We are talking about what we can do together to promote peace, democracy, equality, and justice. Of course, the first goal is to end the occupation and the overuse of power to oppress the Palestinian people. So, and I think that after October 7, we have also to gather like this. We don't have to come to Paris, of course, to be stuck here with you, which is lovely. But we are all worried how we can go home with this ongoing, war that we anticipated, and we were looking that this is like everybody knows that Israel is going to drag and to put us on this edge of this regional war that we will pay as Palestinians and Israelis in this very high price as the civilians. So now I think that we should challenge our vision and to offer the world different terminology and different vision, different dreams. I do think that now we are on stage to have shared struggles, for example, to be on the ground, to visualize and to have this vision as civil society, what's the peace that we are looking for look like with the details. And this is something that only shared society or peace organization who know what's happening on the ground. Diplomat is very important. The international community, of course, it's very important. It's like the State of Israel was born in the international community delivery room, and we have to deal with this child. And I think that now we are talking about what we do next. Like, what's the vision? And someone and of course everyone, the global international community, have to take responsibility for this product and for the situation that we are living on. And so it's shared effort. So we are talking about shared struggles. We are challenging what's happening in the ground, and the shared society knowledge and years of experience and research and activism integrated together to draw this roadmap that Fakhira told us about. And we are the only people who dream about different future. And I was talking to my colleagues with Nivine and other Palestinian participants in this summit. And while we are waiting for our airplane, that we were known that our names were listed on the shame list from both sides, the Palestinian extremists and the Israeli extremists. So if these people who are now, fight, and we've paid the price, and the people in Gaza and civilians everywhere, people pay the price, that means if these people hate us, this means that we are doing something good. So in this term, I think that we should be proud that we are peace activists and not war activists, because we have enough of the enemies. But Wahdat Salam, Neve Shalom is a small model of a peace community who decided to go to the basic values that every democratic community who want to live and to develop itself to invest in: education and peace education, shared society, shared values, the basics: equality, democracy, and justice. It's like kind of words that disappeared from the public space in Israel-Palestine, and we have to bring the basic values that we all share, Palestinians and Israelis and the international community, to the table. So our role in Wahdat Salam with our partners is to offer this world a model how to do that. We know that building trust takes time. I know that it's taken me 25 years. I'm living in Wahdat Salam, Neve Shalom for the last 25 years. The founders in different shapes, they are almost 50 years. These people who believe in the late 70s that this peace is possible. Now we are ongoing living model that peace is possible. So nobody can take that from us. So we offer the word model of dialogue of how we do that, how we educate the next generation for peace. The bad news is that this takes time and lots of support. The good news is that it's working.
Hello? Okay. Thank you very much, Samah. And I prepared a couple of questions, like follow-up questions, but now I have maybe 20 questions. This is very interesting, particularly the fact that, sustaining understanding and peace and between Palestinians and Israelis on a societal level is something. It's definitely a challenge, especially given nowadays and what's happening nowadays. Imagine how also challenging it could be in the case of Wahdat Salam, Neve Shalom, people living together, and also they're young and everything. So I think we'll have a lot to talk about
I
next.
think the long waiting list from Palestinian and Israeli families who want to join the community, especially during the war, I think it's a good sign. I think that the parents who didn't pull out their kids from our bilingual, binational education, it's another good sign. I think that the activist community who, stand for the Palestinian people against the war, protesting for ceasefire and going and like trying to fundraise money for humanitarian aid and to be there and to do something, it's a good sign. And the other thing that we are not alone. Like they are a very small, tiny organization, but around 60,000 people graduate our education system in almost 50 years. So all the peace activities or peace activists know the model, and I don't think that we have to duplicate Salam, Neve, Shalom everywhere. I think that we deserve to live in peace, and there is different models that can be implemented, and the main tool is education and education and education.
Thank you, Samah. Yes, please, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Yes. So it's very important and interesting what Samah is saying, but here we need to understand that we're talking about different contexts. And Samah, as you said, so the Palestinians themselves are divided, and therefore their relationship with the other, i.e. the Israeli, is different based on their geographical location and based how they interact with the other side. So for example, for most Palestinians in Gaza, they don't even know Israel beyond airstrikes and beyond wars and beyond military and army. Yet we have many Gazans who are saying we want peace because we want to live. And then on the West Bank, there are many Palestinians who don't know Israelis beyond settlers and beyond the army and beyond checkpoints. And they are very difficult for them to be interacting with the Israelis, especially after the 7th of October, because even those who used to work in Israel on a daily basis don't even have permits to work anymore. And even those who want to seek peace and to meet the other side don't have permits to meet. And we have to pay for people to fly to Cyprus in order to meet, which puts additional burdens on civil society, financial burdens on civil society. The cross-border, exactly. So it's yes, we're talking about the shared society being an excellent model, but there's also difficulties of bringing Israelis and Palestinians together, like the cross-border model here as well. And in Jerusalem, it's even a different context at all, because yes, Jerusalem is shared.
Yeah,
but at the same time, there's the political
that we know, like we are peace activists. We know, and we are both feminists as well. So we know that obstacles exist all the time. Like we are the artist and the architect of dealing with obstacles. If we don't have obstacles to negotiate, now we have technology, we have Zoom, we have online session, we have so many things that we can do. The most important thing, not to give up. And most of the people around us give up. We know that in the 80s and the 90s, peace delegation came from Gaza and Ramallah and from everywhere, like to speak and to meet, and then they pushed us aside. So we met in Jordan and in Cyprus, and then they pushed us. So we meet now in the Area C. So we'll never stop the dialogue. This is the most important thing, and we know now, after this disastrous genocidal war, we know that there is no shortcuts for peace. We know that we have to keep going, and our children, deserve better roadmap or different vision for the future that we are struggling to build for them.
Maybe we should have moved on to our next speaker maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes ago, but this is very interesting. Alon, I'm sorry we kept you waiting.
No, no worries.
I tell you what.
We can take the only Jewish representative here, and took his time. So he's minority here. It didn't happen, a lot.
The only Jewish participant.
The majority here.
I tell you what, the only Jewish participant is going to get extra 2 minutes. Is that good?
Whoa.
Yeah. And the Palestinian giving him this.
I don't know.
So our friend Alon-Lee, thank you very much for joining this panel. We'd love to hear about how youth-led, and definitely digital, of course, youth-led digital organizing is changing the landscape of peace building today, and how standing together as an organization or group brings diverse communities into common cause.
All right.
Extra 2 minutes.
I don't know if I will need it, but let's see. I actually wanna start with actually the topic you all three raised. I think it's a very interesting discussion, and I will connect it also to the question of the digital spaces. But I will start by saying that I think what is going on here, even in this convention, is problematic. I will speak about as an Israeli person here, as a Jewish Israeli. I have a lot of colleagues that I recognize here that come to these spaces. They come to these spaces after 20 months of not saying anything. They might even go out of these spaces, come back to Israel, and will not say anything about the killing of children in Gaza, about the annihilation that we create in Gaza, the destruction of every possible city, neighborhood, people that have platforms, some people that can really use their voices, they use their public presence in order to convince other Israelis to resist, to say something, to not be complicit with what we are doing as Israelis, as Jewish Israelis, as the hegemonic force, not only in Israel, but in the entire land, because Israel is the hegemonic force, regardless of what you will say. And imagining a room, whether it's in Area C, in the Dead Sea, in Cyprus, or in Paris, that both Israelis and Palestinians are entering into in order to speak together, in order to be in coexisting together, without having the conditions of how you work together otherwise, how you resist the reality, it is destructive. It is destructive. There is no reason otherwise for people to trust us. There's no reason for us to trust them. We need to be able to set the terms of why we are together in these rooms. It's not to fly to Paris. It's not to have a nice weekend here. And I'm sorry to say, this is ridiculous to see. If you're not using your voice, if you're not using your platform, and you just come in order to see people, this is not building peace. It is not changing the reality. It is not allowing us to do anything. I don't know. I don't like terms, really. I don't like using terms.
Terms are very problematic, yeah?
Okay, but what I'm encouraging my fellow Israelis here, use your platforms, use your voices. It is clear since the ceasefire has collapsed already 2.5 months ago that what our war cabinet is talking about is annihilation. Smotrich says it, Ben-Gvir says it, Netanyahu says it. They are speaking about war of annihilation. You don't have to use any words, you don't have to use terminology, but find your way to convince other Israelis to step up and to enter these rooms and spaces after you already and are planning to do something about it. It is not enough just to meet the other side. And I think digitally, we have the ability to reach millions. And I think standing together is an example of how we are growing dramatically in social media, not because we have people that say nice things, but we are actually active on the ground, and we use these actions on the ground in order to speak with other millions of people, and we can click a button today and reach millions, 1 million Israelis per day. That is power. And other people, even here in this room, they have this power. So please use this power in order to change the reality.
Can I?
Wow, thank you. Definitely. This is very brave, and you concluded it with also another problematic issue, which is a call to action, and you see the hesitation that's going on. Yes, I'll just say this, and I will move on to Nivine. So I'm saying that the situation is problematic, and what you just said is problematic. What people thinking is also problematic. And thank you so much, Alon, for what you said and how you said it. And I really wish you the best at what you're doing, you and your group. Nivine, you wanted to say something?
Yes, it's kind of like a follow-up to what my colleague Alon-Lee has just mentioned. So first of all, I fully agree with you. And I always wondered why we're not reaching out and why we're not mobilizing more people in the peace building field. And this specific event in Paris, I think this is a turning point for civil society, as Fakhira was mentioning as well. Because one, it's a public event. We're no longer hiding, we're no longer meeting in Cyprus, and we don't want nobody to know that we are meeting. And everybody who works in this field, specifically the Palestinians, will understand how difficult it is to go public when we go back home. And the attack that we're already facing. My name, for example, right now is on the shame list with Samah. I'm not sure about your name,
Very good
Fakhira.
company, you have to say.
We are like on the shame list right now in Palestine. And yet today I posted on my social media, on my Facebook page, that I'm here and I did a call for action. And that's exactly what this conference is doing. Most of us have been participating in this discussion using artificial intelligence, where we concluded a call for action, specific points that we are going to give for the French government. And then afterwards, I highly encourage you all to participate in the working groups that are happening today, parallel to the sessions. Because what is happening is that we're going to take this voice and these recommendations and give them to the working groups in New York. We're going to have a session where we're going to talk to the working groups in New York, the ones that are co-chairing thematic areas towards a two-state solution. So this is actually the first time that civil society is public, being heard in diplomatic events, and I fully agree with you, it's about time that this is happening. And I would also like to highlight the It's Time event that took place in Jerusalem during May 2025. Yes, that basically...
4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago, exactly. For me, time have stopped 2 weeks ago. So yes, it's definitely saying enough is enough, and we're going public, and we want to be seen, and we want to be heard.
Nivine, I think it's an interesting point, because I'm one of the organizers of the It's Time conference, both of them, the one that was held in July and the one that was held right now in May. And I am very proud of what we did there as a coalition. I think it was a great success to bring so many different organizations and voices. And I was very happy also to see on both the events some parliament members coming to address the audience there, and they used the word peace. I think it was the first time they used the word peace. Some of them, before they entered the room and after they left the room, they didn't say it on a public stage. They didn't write it on their social media. And this is problematic. If you only are able to find those words and to address these questions when you come to the closed rooms, something there is not working, because you need to lead the public. You don't need to assimilate in the street because the street is not feeling comfortable to use the word peace or to resist the war, to speak about the children in Gaza. If you can only do it when you speak with already convinced people in a closed room, there is a problem there with your leadership, because the reason you're in the Knesset is because you're a leader, not because you assimilate in the street.
This is very interesting. I mean, especially given the fact that we have been doing lots of things as peace builders behind closed doors, and I think it is time for us to actually really speak up. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's never been a walk in the park when it comes to this. I mean, given the situation on the Israeli side and the Palestinian side, and lots of things. But the situation nowadays requires that we actually sacrifice. This actually requires more from us, peace builders, to sacrifice more and more, given the severity of the situation and what's happening lately. So I agree with the go public call, Alon-Lee. Thank you very much.
Can I add something? Because it's just for Alon. I think it's not just for us to be courageous today and to point ourselves. We need also the international community also to be courageous today with this conference. Because we are coming here, because we and also the international community represented by here, but also the French government, that we committed to take a bold messages today. And in order for us, the Palestinian and the Israeli, to be also courageous in front of our communities that criticizing us of coming and just like having another conference. I came here as Palestinian taking the risk that because I knew that this conference will take out some bold actions toward recognizing the state of Palestine and also ending the genocide war. I want also the international community to support me, because if the international community is not going also with a courageous voices, it's damaging the credibility of the civil society today, because we Palestinians coming to this conference, because we thinking that the bar is not low anymore. the bar now is a new bar for solving the conflict, for ending the occupation, ending the apartheid, and allowing Palestinian and Israeli to envision a different future. If the international community will keep the bar low, actually they are harming the work of the civil society today, especially the Palestinians.
I have to interfere here, Fakhira.
Please, Samah.
Yeah, I didn't plan to, in the worst scenario, to disagree with my colleagues here. We didn't sacrifice anything. Nothing. We are the privileged people here.
Yes.
People who have the passport, people who have the access to go to the airport and to fly to Paris to speak about this catastrophic war that we are living in. We are the privileged ones here. So let's put that in the table. I'm not apologetic. I think I do agree with Alon that we have to use this power or voice that on this stage to say what other people who are absent here, who are not on the stage, have to say. I know that you are with me with that. This is our duty. If we are stuck here because of this war and we will spend few days here, I don't know where, and we stuck here and suffer from this air blockade on Israel, I don't know what. This is nothing for what happened in Gaza. What's the starvation and the transfer, what's the catastrophe, the humanitarian catastrophe that's happening there? It's nothing. So let's put that on the table. We do not sacrifice anything. This is our duty, and we have to empower each other, to help each other. And yes, there is prices to our choices. We choose to be in this tribe, in the peace builder programs, dreamers, visionary people, adventurers, I don't know, but the courage, we can, say lots of good things about ourselves, but this is a privilege that have to be used and to be organized and to be very rude, vocal, and out there, against what's happening back home to our people.
Thank you, Samah. Before we move on to questions from the audience, please, Fakhira, you said you want to say something?
I just want to bring another...
But in less than 2 minutes, like both of you.
Yeah, I want to bring another issue linking it to Alon. It's also about we can be here coming to this conference because we are Palestinian citizens of Israel. And I want to go back that this turning point demand also, not a new player, also demand from some players to take more also a front line a position, which means about the Palestinian citizen of Israel. And this is why we also here, I think, Palestinian citizen of Israel today have a moral and political commitment to raise together with Jewish, to raise together the voices to end the war and also to imagine together a different future. Because Palestinian today, under the occupation and under the genocide, they cannot envision a different future with the Jews based on reconciliation and living together. Palestinians inside Israel have the commitment and they can envision a different future together. And this is what you are also doing, Stand for All, standing together. It's Palestinian and the Jewish Israelis raising the voices against the war and giving a hope for Palestinians and also breaking the discourse inside Israel that there is no partner in the other side or there is no possibility for different future rather than zero-sum game. They and us trying to say there is a better possibility. There is a different future that could be between Palestinian and Jews, and we know how it could look like because we are also building partnerships, Palestinians and Jews inside Israel, even small, but this partnership that deconstruct the power relationship, challenge the supremacy of the Jews, let's say, but this kind of partnership can be a basic stones for the confederation, for the partnership that will be
to
between
change the narrative,
people.
to own the story,
Yes,
to offer our people and our kids a different narrative that have to be heard. Yeah,
like but we need also
on
to
the ground is that in that way. That's why we have to talk, to publish, to say something that we will keep silence. They enforce us to shut up for months. We couldn't protest. The thing that my first protest for ceasefire, not even for peace, it take place in Germany, in Italy. And now we are allowed to, and with lots of limitations and bureaucracy and all the things that what's happening with the crazy police officers in Israel, but we even can't have the freedom to speak up. So when we have this window of speaking up, I think our obligation is to shout, not only to speak.
Not only to raise our voices. Yes.
And just very, very quickly
30
on that,
seconds,
less than a
Neve.
minute.
Sorry.
Yes. There's two things that are important. The first thing is that if we look in this room, we're preaching the choir. So the question is, how are we going to reach the wider public? And I don't know, maybe increased funding for more media channels, for social media, to integrate media in the work that we do, to integrate advocacy components in the work that we do. Because when I talk to many Israelis and I talk to many Palestinians, they are amazed to know that there are 170 civil society organizations who are focusing on peace building.
I'm not sure it's a good sign, by the way.
Like you don't exist.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Having 170 organizations for peace, I'm not sure it's telling the public a good
Misleading.
story. Look, we have 170 organizations for peace, and we have no
making a difference.
It's not about the number. You know that. It's about the narrative.
People are not even aware that there are these initiatives happening.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that these initiatives should start becoming brave enough to go out there. Just like you, Alon-Lee, and I see you on social media. You're standing there,
To own
you're
the story,
speaking,
yes.
you're leading, you're owning your story, and I see people following you. I don't do that.
All right, Nivine. I'm terribly sorry.
promised
We have to stop this because we only have 7 minutes, and this is not fair. So we move to the audience. Okay, let's start with Rana though, and then you. Please, Rana.
Thank you. It was really amazing to listen to the speakers. And actually, I wonder here because we are talking about building peace from ground. But unfortunately, we don't have any speaker that represent the Palestinian from the West Bank, who are also partner in this, peace building.
The main partner, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can I quickly say a word? Well, I salute all of you for your courage. And as a Jordanian being here with you, I'm in the most important place at this time with all that's happening over there, because it's this courage that gives us all hope in the region. It's the courage of every Israeli and every Palestinian sitting here in this room demanding to make their voices heard. You cannot believe the effect that this gives us in Jordan, because we're also very tired of the conflict, because we're unable to live, because we're the most affected for all the reasons that you all know. But it's this courage, it's the loud voices from within this conference that will help the entire region start. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we move on, please.
Everybody needs a microphone.
All right. Baruch Velleman from the Forum of Israeli Peace NGOs. And by the way, on the idea of Higi Azman, came from the meeting of the forum with the leadership of the New Israel Fund, saying that if we bring everybody together, they have the money to do it, we don't. We can make an impact, and we did make an impact with. But one thing of what you said, the Palestinian Authority representatives were meant to be here. They didn't come because other people from within the West Bank are here, and they are people who criticize the Palestinian Authority, and it's a great pity. We begged them to come, and they didn't come. Two ways that the forum have suggested and that we are carrying out to do exactly what you said, Alon, to bring the idea of what we're doing to the whole Israeli population. Number one, we are restarting A.B. Nathan's Voice of Peace as an internet radio station, not a boat. I wanted it to be on a boat because I love boats, but I was overruled. An internet radio station. We've already set out one podcast. It's the different communities, Palestinian and Israeli, around the world are very excited about it, and hopefully they will help to fund it. It will be eventually a 24/7 radio station with lots of great music, but interspersed with peace, doing exactly what you said, talking about peace, talking about how we live together. And the other thing that has always worried me, there is only one Neve Shalom in Israel. And what I and my wife have been talking about with your Galil chapter and with the Yad V'Yad school that despite my age, I have an 8-year-old who goes to
The bilingual school. In
Yad V'Yad school, as talking about creating a Neve Shalom in the north. We need more Neve Shaloms. Thank you.
Good luck, but according to the national,
I will
state
be
law
coming
in
to talk to
Israel,
you
it's
about
not allowed because this state.
It will have to wait till the next government. I agree. I agree. It will have to wait.
I think we don't need Wahd Islam. I don't believe that I say that. I don't think that we need another model of Wahd Islam Neve Shalom. I think between the river and the sea, they're shared. Like we shared, the two people share the same land. And we need to develop what's happening now. We have 7 mixed cities in Israel, Palestine. We have lots of mixed places that we can re-establish the values and to fight racism and discrimination and to fight for democracy and equality for all. We don't have to rebuild a new model. I would be happy to help, but I know that I'm almost 50 years in this summer, and I learned that we can, and I'm social worker, trained social worker, so I believe and I really think that we have to invest in what we got and not to only to dream to build something new. So we have lots of peace activists, people who believe. We have 7 or 8 bilingual schools in Israel, Palestine. We have lots of communities who believe in what we do, and we have to help them, develop and thrive.
Thank you. Great. Please.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Rabbi Nava Chefetz. I think I work with all the 4 representatives. Listen, halas, el-kalam. We're talking again and again. We need to pass to action like Standing Together is doing, which means they risk their lives, okay? The humanitarian guard, they are going to protect the old city, the Palestinians. We need actions. This is one thing. The second thing is that we are divided. We are divided within the 170 or 200 or 300. And this is the difference between the right wing in Israel and us. Because we are not united. We are not united, each one with his ego from here to New York, okay? We need to unite. And we need more actions. We are talking about 2-state solution. Guys, the annexation is here, de facto. De facto.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to go out from this conference and pressing Prime Minister Macron to recognize the state of Palestine.
Yes,
this is something. If we don't go out from this conference, and Macron is not declaring the recognition of a state, we failed.
Yes.
Just to say, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Someone else maybe?
Just a second.
Please, yes.
I wanted to say, of course, thank you, all of you, to be there. It's not that I am trying, to sort out one better than the other one, but I do agree that what's standing, you see, I am emotional. What Standing Together is doing is much more than has been done by Jews for Palestinians. That's all I wanted, and for peace. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Don't be sorry.
Thank you.
You're good.
Okay, we'll take 2 more, I think, because we already ran out of time.
Maha.
Yes, Maha, please. And then we'll take the gentleman there. And the gentleman here also. That's 3.
Please, no photos. I said that several times, so please respect. Thank you. Thank you all. I'm so proud of you through the 3 females, Palestinians sitting here and in this difficult situation. And I would like to thank Nivine for all the organization for this, ALLMEP, all the respect. And I really feel very sorry because as a woman, a Palestinian woman, I want to raise my kids in a peaceful country. It's enough. I lost several of my mom's family in Gaza. It's like my relatives, my cousins. I need this war to be stopped. And thank you again. It's like, and maybe it will be a good opportunity for all of us here to say to Netanyahu and to all to end this war. And thank you.
Thank you, Maha.
Thank you.
My name is Benoît Miribel, so I am one of the French here. I used to be in this place because I believe to the civil society organization, the place where you are. I work for the NGOs and foundations. Yes, I will support your message to our President Macron. This is the 3rd chamber of the French state, and I can tell you that it's not only your regions, it's all the world that is concerned first. Someone said that most of the people give up. Maybe, but we don't need to give up, definitely. Here it's a house, the house of differences inside the French state. You have the labor union, you have the business, you have NGOs, but we build the consensus with respect, and you know that. So, of course, it's much more difficult, but very important. And I spent years ago in civil war, working for an NGO, and I know that it's not United Nations governments that are doing the peace. It is the people. You can look at it everywhere, always the people. But then United Nations and governments can follow. If not, it's not serious, it doesn't work, as you know. So it is our common responsibilities. And there is a space for that. And I think that after this day, there are so many very good initiatives that we know. But we need to connect, and we have very good tools today and a solution for that. And we need to have a kind of global platform for the 2-state solution with many issues, of course, and guarantee for the people. We are afraid here, and I will stop on that, of the extremists, even in France, because they are fighting democracy. It's by force, and it's a big danger even for us. So we need to stay with you, and we are with you. And I will make sure that your message to President Macron to recognize the states with free election, with democracy everywhere. We hope one day we will be with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We've been, that we should finish now, but I'll give the gentleman right here 30 seconds. Is that okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciated your words about the need to use our platforms to speak out against the war crimes that are happening, and that there are those that are not doing that. There are members of Knesset, even in the opposition, that with their silence, they're a part of the crimes. And I'm curious to your thoughts of how can the peace movement get more influence in the political arena, in the political level? How can that happen? Because that is where the change will happen.
It's a good question, but I will say that I know I have friends probably from within my movement that will disagree with me, but I think that if I look at great changes in history, the civil rights movement, the movement of women to gain the right to be equal people, to get the right to vote or to get the right to be elected, those changes didn't happen because a politician, a minister, a prime minister woke up one day and said, today is the day I'm going to grant black people in the US the equality. No, it happened because of movements. People that organized and built power for decades and were able to shift their societies. And it will not happen in the Israeli society in the terms of the occupation and racism because 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5 amazing parliament members. I wish to see amazing parliament members. We have some amazing parliament members in the opposition, Jews and Palestinians. it is not enough. I do not believe that change will be starting from there, and even if we'll have the most amazing champions there, it will not be enough. I think the ability to create a movement, an historic movement within our society to end the conflict, to end the oppression and the control and the lack of security we as Jewish people are experiencing because of this, this is an historic act, and it demands an historic movement.
If I may, very quickly, I promise.
Thank you, Alon.
I think we also need to say that this is a shortfall of civil society organizations, that we never actually even tried the lobbying mechanisms and the talking to politicians. We always think we're only going to influence them by creating movements, which I fully agree with you, it's very important, but we also need to start integrating this kind of lobbying from within and having champions from within. And I think the US Congress is a very good example of that with the lobby groups. So that's a very good example to learn from, and I'll end there.
You're done. Thank you, Nivine. We're out of time. I'm so sorry. We have to conclude. I just want to say quickly that it's very obvious, given the situation on the ground and what the speakers have actually shared with us, that the threats to peace are actually real. The threats to life are actually also real. Threats to the two-state solution are actually very real. The annexation that's actually about to happen is also very real. What is needed now is more actions, more directed actions, more structured actions to peace, more calls for action to the whole world to step in and try to contribute to a solution to this situation. I don't want to say new terminology. I just want to say what we need is the courage to use the right terminology given the situation nowadays. And I believe that venues like this, provided by ALLMEP and also international governments like the French government, are the best place basically to interact with the other side and with the world, and to agree and to come to agreement on what terminology to use, when and how and everything, and what actions to launch. So keep up the good work for peace. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Please.